I got you, Goo. But I hadn't heard all of that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that,
I appreciate you guys.
All right, Willard and Dibs in the house, and this is the crossover.
Tell them what we've been doing. We've been having fun and throwing Kevin Durant.
We've had a good time today.
Yeah, we've been having a good time.
You have?
Yeah.
It's weird
sounds like it.
I walked by the window, and we've got windows all around the studio.
To the walls.
He hates them.
Yeah, and I saw this man do something that I hadn't seen in a long time.
Smile.
Laughing uncontrollably.
That's because Pre said, Guru, I think you need help.
Yeah.
And you thought that was funny.
Well, he's golfing today too, Willard. He's golfing, so that
Who
has
doesn't
something to
need
do with
help?
it.
Even Steph needs help.
Yeah,
Everybody
no doubt.
needs some help. You're not going to sing Phil Collins, are you? Still my favorite Steiny and Guru show.
Willard, that is my all-time.
Still my favorite one.
It resulted in a loss, but that was
absolutely.
great.
But it captured the entire city for one afternoon. The whole city stopped.
It was incredible.
I mean, Thrive City was thriving because of you. You walked out there, and the whole
they got their asses
It felt like it was 100. It was like 95 degrees.
It's a special day.
Everybody was smiling.
Incredible day.
Steiny's singing. Everybody wanted to try their hand at singing. People were singing who would never sing. Warriors got their ass kicked. It was a great day.
Oh man!
Funny thing
Great
is,
day.
let's just say. Later that day, bumped into somebody in the business.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he was like, I didn't like the tone of the whole station today.
Of the whole
station. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, it was a big joke. Everybody just thinking. I'm like, dude,
your friend's
kind of having fun.
Your friend sounds fun.
Well, there you go.
I just didn't like the whole tone of the station.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
right.
We did.
That
So how
same
about
person
that?
was also forced to sing, by the way.
But Willard Dibs, just to have some fun.
Yeah.
We know the Warriors
now
are
I
in
know
dire
what it is.
need.
No
Willard
transparency.
Dibs, would you
Wet
be
blanket.
okay with Durant coming back if there were a way, or are you just set in stone like hell no?
100.
No.
Not only am I okay with it, let me look at you and tell you, there is a way. There is absolutely a way.
Bobby Marks coming up at 4:30.
Eric
God,
Pincus,
pretty close.
3:15.
Eric Pincus, 3:15.
Dude, do you know this? Do you know Pincus from LA?
He knows
Very well,
Pincus.
yeah.
He is
You don't know Eric Pincus.
money.
He's money.
Eric Pincus is great
He's
at
money.
what he does.
He is, if you want to call it Bobby Marks light, but he's not. He knows all the same stuff. He just doesn't work for ESPN. But he wrote a long piece on Bleacher Report yesterday about the disastrous situation in which the Suns find themselves.
Man.
And there are only a number of ways out, and yes, that is very much one of them. They got to get off one of these stars, and you, quite frankly, can't get off the other two. Beal's got a no trade, and Booker's Booker. And that's your guy.
I just told him he was their step.
That's your guy.
Yeah.
You're not getting off Booker.
I just told
So-
And you got Booker for 4 more years. So
Right.
you're building around
which is
Booker.
a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not your problem.
So I proposed, or not proposed, but I like Pincus and I were texting late last night. Late last
I
night.
like Pincus.
Man. Like to the point
3:15, Eric
to
Pincus.
the point where I almost didn't text him because I'm like, this is rude. This is too late.
What are you
And then
wearing,
I'm like,
Pincus?
Yeah, then I fired a shot.
Sure.
And I'm like, I read your article, and we should talk tomorrow. And then whoop, it fired right back, and I go, okay.
Talk 30 to me, Pincus.
Exactly. Very
that's
good.
great, Dibs.
I'm like, so tell me how this would work. And some names were exchanged, and then he ended it with, but I don't know what's in it for Phoenix. And then I responded and said, well, the Warriors have picks. And Pincus said, they do have some picks.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Those sweet, succulent
They
end of the
do-
first round picks.
They do have some picks.
If I'd
don't
be
they?
a Warrior fan, I'm too scared. I'd be too scared,
Why?
dog.
Well, let me ask you this then, Steiny. Because he'll join us at 3:15, and we do have some viability questions before we can unveil the entire package. However, let me just ask you all this. How are you going to help Steph? That's what they're going to try to do.
I don't look at it that way.
Well,
I'm
but-
looking at it, how can we get better?
But
how can
don't-
we go from 10
Trey
to 6?
Kuminga.
I don't think that the Warriors think those two questions are all that different.
Okay. Well, I agree. I mean,
All right. So
the
how do you-
Warriors, the Warriors clearly feel that if they get to 5 or 6, they could have action.
Mm-hmm.
So I disagree to an extent with that, but if that's what they believe, well, then all you got to do is go all in on winning 4 or 5 more games next year.
Well, and the other thing is if you're aiming for the 5 or 6, who says you're not going to get the 3 or the 4? We're talking about a game or 2 difference in some cases.
I'm allowing for I think you could.
I'm not saying I think they could be the 3 or the 4, but I'm just saying it's not like you can just target the 6 and be like, yeah, we did it. You know what I mean? Like, the idea is you got to be a 50-plus win team. How do they do that? How do they help the guy?
Well, I mean, to me, you could help him by moving Wiggins for a guy or like I mean, maybe you could help him by moving off the idea that the only way to do it is the old way. You know what I mean? I know I'm speaking in general.
Well, what's the old way?
With Clay, Draymond, Wiggins, and tinkering.
I feel like Steph is there.
I do too.
I feel like he's there.
I do too.
I think that Steph has mentally prepared himself for his splash brother to potentially not be on the team anymore.
I agree.
I think he might be on the team, but I think that if something presents itself that would mean he's not on the team, I think Steph's prepared for that.
And I think that Clay is also prepared for it because based on what we know, 2 years and 48, he said no thank you to, and now where the Warriors are financially, feels like the offer that they would make would be about that, if not maybe a skosh less than that. And I think that he has a chance to get more money elsewhere. Now, one thing we're going to ask Eric Pincus, 315, capologist, is are the Warriors in a spot where they can do a sign and trade? Because I think that when they get to June 30th, they can get below the second apron. And at that point, are they then able to be a team that can maneuver like typical teams do?
In other words, could they sign Clay and then involve him in a trade?
Correct.
Yeah.
Wiggins and Clay.
And what that means.
And I don't firmly know the answer to that, and Eric will.
Exactly.
So yeah, we
until Pincus joins us, I'm going to have to sit on that as an idea.
Here's the other thing, though, about Clay, and I think this is maybe helpful for fans to just think about and kind of massage. Because, most people are just like, well, that's Clay. Let's keep Clay. If you want an acquisition of any consequence this offseason, if you re-sign Clay, he is it.
Yeah, exactly.
That is your acquisition.
Man.
So for me, that really shapes kind of, at minimum, the openness for this to go multiple ways. I'd love to see Klay Thompson finish his career as a Warrior. But for everybody who wants to both keep Clay and get better, think about it that way. If you re-sign Clay, that's your big acquisition.
And how hard of a situation
kind of the way
does that
I've been
mean
looking
for
at
them?
it. Yeah.
We're going to sign a guy that is not going to bring us that immediate improvement.
What do you mean? Why not?
He was part of. I'm not blaming Clay.
Why is it not possible for Clay's replacement to bring them immediate improvement?
That's what you need. I'm saying if you
bring back Clay
and you don't bring in anybody, then it's you already know what you're paying for. No shade at Clay. Dude, I keep rewinding. The answer to this team's ailment is not in the building.
Right.
Kevin Durant or somebody like that is, and I'm dreaming. Maybe I'm not 315.
No,
Pincus, but I can't wait.
Well, for me, it's about addition by subtraction as well as addition by addition. And for me, job number one is getting Andrew Wiggins off the team and getting something for him. I think that he's run his course here. I don't think that he's going to ever be the player that he was for the 2 months when they won the championship.
Brandon Ingram in some type of deal for Wiggins. Would you do that?
You're going to have to give up draft picks to get Ingram here for Wiggins.
Okay, we'll deal with that when we have to deal with it.
Just FYI, if you go calling the Pelicans, we want Ingram for Wiggins, they'd be like, and Kuminga.
Right, and 2 first-rounders at least.
Ingram's young still.
Right, in some ways, that's actually one of the reasons KD is more attractive to me than some of the other options. I know people look, it's KD, so I know what it makes people's brains and eyebrows do and all that when you even mention it, but I really don't want Jonathan Kuminga to be traded.
I don't either.
It's going to be hard then, Willard.
But I think that KD is one of the people you could potentially get without trading Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh, wow.
Brandon Ingram, that's going to take Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
That's it. Or any of these big names that you all want to write, Carl Anthony, Markkanen, like they're going to want Jonathan Kuminga.
No doubt.
But the Suns are in quicksand.
They're in sell mode.
They're
Absolutely.
in quicksand.
And I encourage everyone to read the Bleacher Report article by the aforementioned Eric Pincus because he lays it out in excruciating detail as to exactly where they are. So not only do they have albatross contracts, and they've got 3 of them, Booker not so much because he's a superstar. You got 3 massive contracts, but you also have almost no picks. You've traded all your picks in previous deals, so you have almost no way to get better, and your big 3 is a broken core. So you can't trade Beal. He's got a no trade. You don't want to trade Booker. He's the centerpiece.
You don't have a point guard.
KD's the odd man out. Yeah, so you get rid of KD, and maybe you go out and find a point guard out on the open market.
Yeah, I actually think that like if I were running the Phoenix Suns, like Booker's on the table. He is on the table.
He might be.
We're so constrained.
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
And like, with all due respect, and I know he's not there. He's not Steph Curry. Never won a title. So
he's not. But whatever. Like again, there are certain players you never let the fans run the show. But I do think there are certain players. That's why I'll stand by the statement I made last week. I'd rather lose than see the Warriors trade Steph Curry. I don't care. Wow. I don't I don't care. That's a no. That's a no for me when it comes to for Steph Curry. And I don't think that Booker and the Suns are like that, but that is their guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's their guy.
He's absolutely their guy.
You know what I mean?
In his prime.
Right. But the circumstances may be forcing them to do something they really don't want.
Oh, gosh, they're the worst constructed.
Well, they're going to do something that they're probably not going to be crazy about.
You're right. Their front office just took a huge roll of the dice.
They went all the way
it came up so snake eyes.
Yeah, and you know what?
Can't even, I mean.
And it's within the realm of possibility the Warriors could kind of try to do the same thing if they bring Durant here, in theory.
Shorter term deal, though. So
yeah.
He's only got 2 years left, so you roll the dice, and if it doesn't work, then you're just playing out the string anyway with Steph's career.
I mean, the one thing that let me do this. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM, and HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Upgrade your savings dividend. Open a First NorCal first-class money market today. Now, of course, I forgot what I was going to say. It happens all the time.
The Warriors being Phoenix if you bring Durant in.
Right. Dibs had said a shorter-term deal.
The one thing that does scare me about a Durant, and I know if anybody gets hurt, you're shot. But I do think if you make a move for Durant and you give up draft picks, you are opening yourself up for something more cataclysmic to happen than if you don't make the move. In terms of like
in terms of the future,
the floor drops. Now the ceiling gets raised also. I guess what I'm saying is it's significantly more risky, I think, than moving Wiggins. Could we get somebody in here? Let's re-sign Kuminga, and let's just take another year. Can we win 49 games, get to 6, assess at the end of the year? Like, I just see Durant coming here or somebody like that, and if it goes south, then it's going to be worse than if a regular year were to go south.
So I agree completely with everything that you're saying. But is Joe Lacob a risk taker?
Yep.
That's number one. And number two, you know, I look at this from the standpoint because the picture you just painted is actually probably what's going to happen. That's the betting favorite. The betting favorite is one of these deals will not match. The Warriors bring back Clay and just bring in another, Kelly Olynyk joins the team and off you go and try to not get suspended, everybody. But that's where I was thinking about when I brought up what I brought up yesterday, which is Joe Lacob is also concerned with whether or not the Warriors are a show or are they getting stale. And I think if your offseason is Klay Thompson and Kelly Olynyk, I think you run the risk of feeling a little stale. And my God, that's a cuss word. That's a cuss word in this industry.
Coming off a year you didn't make the playoffs.
Right. So that's a risk too.
Just to rebut that, I would say, boy, as long as you have Steph, you're going to have a pretty good show, relatively speaking to other shows around the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to have a super show like you had? You could probably bump that up. But
if you're going to win 46 games, you'd rather do it with KD and Steph than you would running it back with the same old cast of characters. There's a certain amount of sizzle that comes with KD's return, and can they do it again and all the rest of it.
You think KD would want to come back here?
That's what we were getting.
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, it may not be his number one destination, but he likes playing with Steph, and I do think that this being an Olympic year adds a little bit of extra intrigue to it because he's going to be playing with Steph, and he's going to be playing for Steve coming up here in July in Paris. So those things maybe will help fuel the rumor mill, but if you're KD and you're looking at where you would want to play, and I know that Miami is an option, that's pretty appetizing. New York has been rumored. I can't picture him wanting to go play for Coach Thibs. Doesn't strike me as...
Play 48 a night.
Yeah, exactly. Or else.
Yeah. L.A. too, the Lakers too, if Bron stays.
He'll go to L.A.?
No, I mean, I don't think he would listen.
Well, who's he?
LeBron, because D-Lo is out of there.
Oh, LeBron would listen to...
No, Kevin Durant would listen to join the Lakers if he could play with LeBron. I believe that's on the table for him. Like the Lakers are going to get another... D-Lo is Jetson. They're getting rid of him. Night-night.
Right. I mean...
And I feel like that's their Stilo. They will go see what's up with Durant.
Yeah, I don't know. Even Magic Johnson literally wrote the other day on Twitter about youth. And it's not that it's untrue for the Warriors. It's true for the Warriors as well. But the Lakers, I have a hard time believing that what they're going to go do is get a mid-30s front court player. Yeah. I think to replace D'Lo, they'd be much more interested in the Donovan Mitchells and the Trae Youngs of the world.
Robin called in, and the heart of the show was, did KD feel underappreciated? And that brought out all kind of feelings from everybody. But we did the pre and post for a couple years at Oracle. I felt like Kevin Durant got all the love from the fan base. You got the 2 final MVPs in front of the world, to where some were saying you are the better basketball player than Steph Curry. But as far as the crowd giving standing O's and not, he wasn't underappreciated.
Well,
but a lot of Steiny feels like he was, and
all that matters is what he thinks. Right. And a lot of people feel underappreciated, whether they are or not. My question for Kevin would be, how much different of a person are you now than you were 5 years ago?
And 2 failed stints.
Has your opinion changed over the last 5 years? Like, do you look at Golden State a little more wistful?
Well, right. Are you like, is Kevin, the perception at the time was Kevin's like, I need to be seen as the one. I want to be beloved as the one. Do you still feel that way when you're 35? And you realize that, like, that quest
2 bad relationships you were in
didn't work? Right? We've all been there. Like, you get a little bit older, your perspective every 5 years changes on everything.
Like, Dibs, I find it hard to believe that when Kevin Durant came here, in his mind, he was like, I'm going to overtake Steph. Like, I'm going to be their new limelight player. I think he was just, I'm going to come here, ball, and win a couple titles, and the chips fall where they may. But that doesn't mean he couldn't have been a little surprised with just how big that Curry limelight is, just how loved Curry is out here, and... well, I think I'm pretty good too, but...
He was never going to be loved at that same level because he wasn't from here. Even Klay Thompson, he wasn't, a Warrior through and through, like even Draymond. So I do think a more mature KD now, a 35 turning 36-year-old KD, who probably just wants one more good situation where he can play beautiful basketball and maybe have a chance to compete for what he's already won. That's got to be first and foremost. And that's why I think about this fit being one that could possibly work in his mind, because he knows playing with Steph and Draymond works. And it worked with Klay, obviously, and they had other players as well. But he knows that was a basketball situation that he liked. And at the essence, KD is just a baller. He wants to go somewhere and be able to play ball the way he knows how to play with guys who also have a high basketball IQ.
Yeah, and I'll paraphrase. It's just basketball.
Right.
That rubbed you the wrong way? That's what LeBron said.
Right. And, I mean, he's right.
He didn't mean that, though.
He is right, but it's a way to say, get off me, stop the criticism.
Get off me, text
I'm letting
line.
you know it's okay, that it's not even that important to me. Like, I wasn't
It's easy to say when you lose.
I also didn't like the, hey, did you ever think during today that tonight might be your last game? And he goes, I'm not going to answer.
Loved it.
that.
And
We
I'm
played
like-
it yesterday.
As after a long pause.
I hated
But I'm wondering
it.
why,
Yeah.
like, he could have just said, no, I didn't think about it at all. I didn't think, or, it crossed my mind. But, like, to not answer just stuck with me
to
as
keep
kind
the
of
spotlight
strange.
on him, which naturally it'll never go away. But Willard, they're going to draft Bronny. His brand is about L.A. He's not leaving the Lakers.
I don't
To
know.
get your
I don't
son
know.
drafted,
Like,
and I love the kids.
I don't know that
who's
they're going
not
to
really good enough to make it, but you're so damn good. They're going to do it for you.
Are you that confident that they're going to do it?
I think so.
You thought they were going to win a
What's
series.
plan B for the Lakers?
Oh, that's right.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
I'm sorry,
Well,
dude. My
okay.
bad.
I
That's
do owe
such a
you two
cheap
something,
shot.
but I just want to add this caveat to that. Everything that I bet on came to fruition in regard to had they played any other team besides Denver,
Yeah.
the Lakers would have won.
No, they
That's
wouldn't
the
have.
travesty in all
No,
the
they wouldn't
Macbeth
have.
of basketball.
Shame on you,
They were in
because you're
every game
shame
and
on
led
you.
90%
Shame
of
on
the
you.
time. The Lakers
Oh,
did well
okay.
for themselves,
Well, they-
Willard. They lost and they're mad.
They won one game.
But dude, they should have won 3.
Oh, yeah, they would've- yeah.
We're playing
they would've
48
handled
minutes.
Minnesota.
Hold on.
I give you that, but come on,
I'm
Willard.
out.
Yeah, hold
They
on.
didn't flame out
Hold
like
on.
flame outs are normally done.
Their showing was not embarrassing, but I have grown. I have grown. Let's put it this way. I have reached the end of my road. Shout out Boys to Men.
Give you a three.
I have reached the end of my road in terms of we should have won
Thank you.
because we had a lead. Like
But Will,
what
man.
defines a good team
I hear you.
is what they do in the fourth quarter. The Warriors blew those games because they're not that good. Not the other way around. They're really good, and because they blew games, that shows they actually were better. Like no, that like when you watched that game the other night. This is what I said to Dibs. When you watched Game 5, Lakers and Nuggets.
I watched it all.
Great game.
You
was.
the fourth quarter was a heavyweight fight. Did you at any point think like the Lakers are going to win this game?
After Reese hit the 3 and went up 1, yes.
I sat there the whole time. I'm like, Nuggets are going to win this
Aaron
game.
Gordon is Kevon Looney-esque, and he kept those offensive
For you to
rebounds.
think that it was the matchup that's kept the Lakers out of the second round proves to me you still think Minnesota and Oklahoma City are jokes. That's what it shows me
They swept
on
them.
95.7.
They
the
swept
game.
them. Why are you leaving?
Where's the
Wow.
He's got tea time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He's got
right.
tea time.
We'll be
Yeah.
listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
You can stay if you want.
yeah, of course, playing out of Karika, so it's a
I
nice
gotta
little
get
four
home.
ball. He's
No,
got to
he
get
get-
out there. So
He got mad at me right when I walked in today.
he did.
Yeah, because he's having a hard time on the first 3 holes of his round.
Yeah,
And he thinks it's because I'm keeping him here.
and you know where you're keeping him, right? On 95.7.